A warm welcome to another episode of Living Football, and we are more than pleased to introduce to you today the most powerful woman in FIFA. Secretary General Fatma Samoura will join us on the Living Football sofa today. And we look ahead to the Olympic FIFA football tournaments along with Japan's record-breaking Homare Sawa and Nigerian Olympic champion Emmanuel Amunike. Welcome to the home of FIFA. Thanks for joining us wherever you are. The last few years have seen a shift in the global conversation about women. Today, more and more women in leadership roles are using their platforms to empower girls and women all around the world. In studio with us today is one such lady. She's a former United Nations diplomat who served in several conflict zones throughout her 21-year career. In 2016, she almost broke the internet when she was appointed as the first ever woman to be nominated as Secretary General of FIFA. I'm delighted to welcome to Living Football FIFA Secretary General Fatma Samoura.
Well, thank you, Jessica, for the introduction. I'm very pleased to be here with you today in the studio, and I'm delighted to be part of the Living Football program, which I'm sure will reach millions of fans around the globe.
It's show number 10, so you took your time, but we are, even more delighted that you're here today. So it's our great pleasure. And before we speak about your career, let's listen to some of, let's say, your companions, because you are a trailblazer, a game changer, and a role model for so many.
I propose to the Council, who accepted, to nominate as Secretary General Mrs. Fatma Samoura. She will bring a fresh wind to FIFA. Somebody from outside, not somebody from inside, not somebody from the past, but somebody new, somebody who can help us do the right thing in the future, because we have to be serious when we say we want to embrace diversity and we believe in gender equality.
When she came on the scene on the international platform, I think it took women in leadership roles onto another level. I know where I was and what I was doing in London when she came on the screen, when there was that flash, on CNN and, breaking news, and an incredible feeling for all of us.
I think it was a great idea to give Fatma that responsibility. First of all, she has the competence, the talent. She comes from an international organization. She is a very intelligent person as well, and a very dedicated person. That's why I think she's doing a great job here at FIFA, and overall I would like to congratulate her to support us as well, and to thank her to support us in our programs.
Oh, wow.
Isn't it nice how they praise you?
Well, it's very moving testimonies indeed, Jessica, and I will do my best to continue to merit and to deserve the trust that Gianni and the football community in general vested in me.
Well deserved. Fatma, let's take a look back. What brings a UN diplomat who has served in conflict zones, who has negotiated with child soldiers and warlords, to football?
Well, let me say first that as far as I can remember, football has always been an integral part of my life. I remember at the age of 5 kicking football in my father's house backyard with my brothers and with the neighbors. But one tournament that really multiplied by 10 my passion for football was the final of the FIFA World Cup in Mexico in 1970, where I discovered at the age of 8, El Rey Pelé. And I think that final marks for many Africans the beginning of the love for football. But later on throughout my career, I was the witness of how football can change life, especially for people who are in desperate situation. When I was in Liberia with the UN World Food Programme, back in the 90s, the only time, Jessica, where those warlords and those child soldiers would accept to put the weapon down was when it was raining and when they were playing or watching football. And later on, just after the genocide of the Tutsis in 94, the first time where youngsters from the two communities accept to look at each other as part of the same nation was when the UNDP and FIFA joined forces to build a pitch to allow them to play. And since 2016, I'm experiencing every day the unique power of football to transcend borders, to lift all obstacles, whether cultural, racial, or based on religion. So to me, it's just natural that when I was asked by Gianni Infantino in 2016 to become the first ever woman Secretary General, I just feel that I should be part of that journey. As you know, the journey has not been easy. It was at times very bumpy, but always very exciting. And I don't regret 1 second my decision, pushed by my husband and my mother, to take up the responsibility as the FIFA administrator.
Well, I can say that I think that the whole world of football is happy that you took the job. But please tell us a little more about your UN career. What was that like? And how does the world of football compare?
First, I smile when people compare FIFA with the UN. And indeed, football is the most popular game on earth. And FIFA is even bigger in terms of numbers.
And
it's
members.
a 211 member association,
Yes.
as opposed to 193 member states for the UN. But they do quite a similar job, meaning putting the individuals at the center of everything they do. When I was working in the UN, I was never sleeping because I was covering a wide range of countries where really bringing food to the needy people was our priority, and helping also people to rebuild their livelihood. And wherever I go, even during those war situations, football has been present in the mind of the people because they love the game so much and because it brought so much positivity to their life.
And in this important role and with all this responsibility, we have to speak about the COVID-19 pandemic. I mean, FIFA was very quick to respond when the pandemic hit the whole world. So can you tell us what happened here in the home of FIFA in these days?
Well, first, we could never imagine that one virus could paralyze the whole world.
No.
But it happened. That after 13th of March 2020, the vast majority of the country have to start to stop playing. And football was very much affected by the pandemic. The first thing that FIFA president did the next day, following the declaration of Dr. Tedros from WHO that coronavirus was indeed a pandemic, was to go and knock at Dr. Tedros' door and say, we, the world of football, we would like to put at the disposal of WHO all our assets to kick out coronavirus out of the globe. The first gesture we made was to put $10 million on the table to support WHO in its research to accelerate the discovery of the vaccines. We have embarked since then in 5 different campaigns. The first one was to make sure that people don't catch the virus by adhering to 5 tactics and 5 principles, which were more or less these social distanciations. Yes. The second thing we realized that during the lockdown, there were a surge in domestic violence, but also people were not practicing enough physical exercise. So we ran a campaign to allow people to be more active and also to tell people that your home should be your safe haven and that you should not be victim of domestic violence because of the situation. The fourth campaign we ran with all the FIFA football legends was to support the health workers and to thank them and congratulate them for the tremendous job they have done to minimize the impact of the virus on humankind. And today, we are actively running a campaign to allow all the countries, not only the rich countries, to have access to the vaccines. And we have also mobilized substantive amount of money, close to $1.5 billion, to help our member association to keep on the ball rolling.
So this COVID-19 Relief Fund was launched over a year ago. And in this Living Football show, we showcased myriads of projects, how FIFA helped its members associations, how the FIFA grants were used. So what's the feedback you get?
Very positive. Today I'm proud to say that more than 90% of our member association have access to this fund. And unlike developed countries, my continent, for example, was one of the biggest recipients of this COVID fund. I just would like to share an anecdote with you, Jessica. One of the players in Sierra Leone, in West Africa, who was also the breadwinner in the house, was telling us 1 month after she received this allocation under the COVID relief plan, that if it was not that money, she would have been impacted twice. Her club would have disappeared because it was not able to continue paying them because there were no competition, no spectator. But even more seriously, their house burned down during the COVID, and her mom had to be rushed to the hospital. It's through that allocation she received from the Sierra Leone Football Association that she was able to pay the cost for mom to be assisted medically. Today, she continues playing, she rebuilt the house, and the whole family is happy. So this is one of the hundreds of anecdotes we have about the positivity and how critical it was for the member association to have access to this fund and also to the clubs. And we are still receiving requests for the long-term loan, which will be repaid without any interest, of course. And we think that with what we have done, we have somehow, quote unquote, saved the football ecosystem in many, many countries.
Definitely. You kept football alive.
Indeed.
And it's coming back to life now, slowly but steady. So, Fatma, we have to talk about women in football, of course, because since your appointment in 2016, we have seen tremendous improvements in female leadership in the football industry, as well as in women's football. So what can you tell us about this?
We have first decided to create a women football division, meaning a division within FIFA for the first time in the 112 years of FIFA, fully dedicated to women football. And one woman is today leading this division. Today at FIFA, we are 43% women, and 3 are part of the senior management board, which is taking the decision on how to run FIFA on every day, the day-to-day operation. Today we have 16 Secretary General among our 200 member association. We have each of the confederation having 1 female member representing them at the highest body of governance of FIFA, which is the FIFA Council. For the committees, before 2016, FIFA had more than 16 committees. And there were few where they had absolutely no female representation. Today, we have 34% women represented in the 9 committees of FIFA. We have done more in terms of also increasing the countries participating to the World Cup. As you know, Jessica, as of 2023, we will go from 24 participating member associations to 32. We have mobilized $1 billion fully dedicated to women's football for the cycle 22-26. And we are rewarding also female players who are participating in the FIFA competition, especially at the World Cup, by multiplying by more than 3 the prize money that is allocated to the participating member association at the FIFA Women World Cup.
And I mean, the last FIFA Women's World Cup 2019 in France, that was a benchmark. And I mean, that was an example of this incredible progress that has been made in women's football.
While first, in terms of attendance, we have 1.2 billion people viewing or watching the game. In an average, we have 17.2 million viewers for each of the matches. But the good thing was, even before the kickoff, 24 matches were already sold out. And as you said, we already reached many heights, and we have broken many records, but it's still it's just the beginning. As we go into developing women's game from the grassroots to the elite football, and having more countries attending and participating to the World Cup, and the World Cup for the women's game being sold as a different product, we will be reaching more heights.
Definitely. Last year, Sarina Wiegman got awarded the Best FIFA Women's Coach. She will now take part in the FIFA Olympic football tournament with the Dutch national team before moving to England to take charge of the team there. So that's a pretty unique situation. She couldn't come to Zurich due to obvious travel restrictions to pick up her trophy. So we went to see her at her last match in the Netherlands before going to the Olympics in Japan.
Awesome. Can you reveal the winner?
Yes, the best FIFA women's coach is Sarina Wiegman.
Sarina Wiegman, de beste coach van de hele wereld.
Well, that's very special, of course. That FIFA award was given in December last year. And so now he came here and he gave Viviane her award, and he gave me my award. But it's an award of the team, the players and staff, because when you perform you always do it together. But it's really nice, and 20 years ago when I was a player, I played my 100 international games for the national team, and then he gave me an award. Yeah. So it was kind of fun.
Ik moet zeggen, dat verdien jij. Dat heb ik al volgens mij in een sportje gezegd, maar dat verdien jij zeker. Want als ik zie de ontwikkeling van met name het Nederlands vrouwenteam, het Nederlands elftal, dan zie ik een geweldige ontwikkeling. En in 2017 zag ik het voetbal en toen dacht ik, nou dat zou nog wel wat beter kunnen. Maar het gaat echt de goede kant op. En dat doen jullie ook. Daar zijn jullie ook verantwoordelijk voor, want jullie doen het samen. Dus eigenlijk is deze prijs voor jullie samen. Maar ik reik het toch uit aan Sarina. Van harte gefeliciteerd.
Sarina Wiegman, so what do you think of her as a role model in women's football?
Well, Sarina Wiegman is definitely one of the best football coaches. And last year, she had been crowned by one of the most converted award of FIFA. And that was the second time after 2017. She guided her team to the FIFA Women's World Cup in France in 2019. And now I guess she has new plan for the summer.
Yeah.
And I wish her all the best for the Olympic tournament. And of course, a good start when she take up this English national team to the next level.
Absolutely. Fatma, you are a champion for, let's say, wokeness. How important is using your platform as Secretary General to raise awareness of issues concerning social and also racial injustice?
But Jessica, as the first ever woman leading the administration of FIFA, I thought I had a responsibility to do something about certain ills that affect this beautiful game. And one of them is definitely fighting all kinds of discrimination, starting with racism. This is a fight that I pick up because it resonates very strongly with me, because I don't want the fight of my great-grandfathers, my grandfathers, my parents, and my fight against racism to be a legacy for my daughter. Mm-hmm. And I'm convinced that with all the actions that Gianni is taking with the FIFA Council, and that the clubs more and more are concerned about, that we will be one day able to say that racism is a kick out of football. And I'm using my platform, especially after the killing of George Floyd,
Yes.
to raise my concern about racism and discrimination. And I think it's time that the world recognize that racism has no place in sport and not even in society.
We absolutely agree. So what are your hopes for the future as we emerge now, slowly but steady, from this pandemic?
Well, first, I would like everybody to feel healthy and to keep on respecting the medical authorities' instruction.
Yes.
As long as we don't reach the herd immunity that allow each of us to restart a normal life. But for now, FIFA administration has to focus on the next game, which is the Olympic tournament in Tokyo, where I'm sure all the authorities have taken the measures to make sure that it take place without affecting people in terms of the corona. The next milestone we have is definitely the Beach Soccer World Cup.
In Russia.
I'm very happy to say that Senegal will be part of that venture.
Excellent.
Because they just won the AFCON Beach Soccer competition 3 weeks ago in Senegal, and I was there. And then we will be also watching the Lithuania futsal competition in September. But the next biggest competition is definitely the Arab World Cup this year in November and December, which will be a test event for the biggest tournament on earth, which is the FIFA World Cup Qatar. 2022. So I'm really excited to be in Qatar for this year and for next year, and I'm sure it will be the greatest World Cup ever.
Fatma, allow me one last question. You know, I imagine that probably young girls are now watching us talking here, and maybe they are so inspired, like I was when I met you for the first time, and I still am, obviously. What advice would you give her?
I would give to any young girls who think that I'm a source of inspiration to her to believe in her dreams and to not let anybody tell her what that dream should be. People have to trust themselves and to make sure that what they would like to become in life is part of what they work on every day.
Thank you very much. FIFA's Secretary General Fatma Samoura, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us, and please come visit us here more often, Fatma.
Thank you very much, Jessica, and I will take your words.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Fatma Samoura. Yes, the next big FIFA events are the Olympic football tournaments in Japan for men and women. And that's our next topic. We are delighted to introduce to you the host country's record-breaking player, as well as a gold medalist. But of course, ladies first. We start with the woman who has made female football history in Japan like no other. She won the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2011 and is considered to be the best player of all time in Japan. Homare, Sawa. Homare Sawa, thank you so much for joining us via video, unfortunately. We've just seen a little compilation of your greatest career moments. You participated in 6 FIFA Women's World Cups and you became FIFA Women's World Cup winner in 2011. So what are your most vivid memories of the tournament back then in Germany?
一試合一試合どの試合も、本当に思い出深い、試合でしたけれど、やはりチームが一試合一試合やっていく中で一つになっていくという形が見れて、でもう何よりも決勝の、ドイツでの、アメリカ戦の、ゴールが一番印象的というか嬉しかったです。
Football brings people together and the dream didn't stop. I mean, in 2012, you won the silver medal, speaking about the Olympics. 2016, the Nadeshiko weren't qualified. You participated in total in 4 Olympic tournaments. How do you rate Japan's chances for the upcoming Olympic FIFA football tournament, especially the women?
そうですね。今回東京オリンピックということで予選がなかったので、自然に流れで出場は決まったんですけれど、やはり2012年自分たちが2011年のワールドカップ終わってもうすぐにアジアの予選が始まって、本当に休みがなくタイトなスケジュールの中、勝ち取った出場権だったんですけれど、やはり本当に当時のチームは一試合一試合やっていく中で、絆だったりチームワークだったりそういうのがすごく、深まるというか、で今回はコロナの影響もあってなかなか合宿だったり、みんなでやれる機会が、時間がなかったので、どういう結果になるかはわからないんですけれど、たくさんの方が見ていてくれると思うので、いい結果を残してくれればいいなと思います。
As we all know, health comes first. Homare, thank you very much. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. And we hope that we can welcome you here in the studio in Zurich soon. But you know, these are challenging times for all of us.
こちらこそありがとうございました。
Arigato.
ありがとうございます。
But before that, let's switch from a silver to an Olympic gold medalist. He became Olympic champion in 1996 with the famous Super Eagles. In a thrilling final, he scored the decisive goal against Argentina, Emmanuel Amunike. The great Emmanuel Amunike, thank you so much for joining us. Emmanuel, where are you right now?
Right now I'm in Spain and I'm in the city of Santander.
And can you tell us something about this interesting picture behind you?
There's a picture, an African picture. This picture actually, when I went for the AFCON in Ghana, I think 2008, and on the street, I saw a guy, painting it, and then I decided to buy one of it. And since then, the picture, I think most of the time when I look at it, I remember how I grew up, and then I remember back how the villages looked like. But I think it's a very nice picture.
Absolutely. So, thinking of your big successes, maybe the biggest one was winning the gold medal in 1996. So can you tell us what kind of game that was, the final back then in 1996?
When we played Brazil in the first, in the group stage, we lost narrowly. And we knew we didn't play badly in that game, but we lost. And then having the possibility of playing them in the semi-final, we knew if we can get our acts together and play as a team, we were able to to do something positive. And after the game, making it to the final, and then we realized that we only have one game to play. And in this final against Argentina, all what we need to do is to give everything that we have to be able to achieve that objective. And at the end of the day, we were able to win the medal, which eventually paved a way for Africa in terms of having more slots in the international scene and giving more recognition to Africa and also to Nigeria as a country. And then I think it was so amazing, and I will say I'm grateful to be part of that team.
You were the first African team to win Olympic gold, like you said, the biggest triumph in Nigerian football history. What did that mean for your country and also for football in Nigeria?
Well, I think it means a lot, it means a lot to Nigerian football. If we remember, the first time we participated in any major tournament was in 1994. And then after 94, the way we lost, and then coming back again in 96, having the privilege to participate in the Olympic, I think, it really positioned Nigerian football. He really, gave most of us the confidence that was part of that generation, that doing what is right and what is needful and working very hard, that we can always achieve our success. Like you mentioned, I think the Olympic medal was one of the highest, achievement when it comes to Nigerian football in time, apart from the African Cup of Nations that we have won in 94 also.
We are also looking at an extraordinary squad with Kanu, JJ Okocha, Taribo West, and so on. Absolutely unforgettable to this day. Who do you still have probably the best contacts with?
Well, I'm in touch with every one of them. I'm in touch with Kanu. I'm in touch with Omokachi. Omokachi now is the ambassador of soccer in Nigeria, working directly with the government. Okocha is doing his own private team, Kanu also. So I'm in touch with most of them, and I believe being in touch with them, we enhance our possibility of, drawing more attention to the new generation and letting them to believe that there was a time when so-so players, when Nigeria was able to put Nigeria and Africa in the map of the whole world when it comes to football. So I'm in touch with every one of them, and I'm happy that we are privileged to be alive, and everyone is doing what he loves. And I know that after football, not everyone will love to involve into football. Some decide to do something differently. But those of us that are alive, I'm in touch with them, and I'm happy that we are all alive and we are all doing our things in a different way.
Nigeria is not qualified for these Olympic Games. Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt and South Africa finished at the top 3 positions in the CAF Under-23 Cup of Nations. So how do you rate their chances in the upcoming tournament?
Egypt, I think they have a very good team. South Africa, you cannot write them off. But in every tournament, you can never really predict what the team can really come up with. But if they can prepare themselves very well, from tactical point of view, to technical point of view, to the psychological point of view also, I think the Egyptian team, they have the chances of doing very well in the tournament.
Emmanuel Amunike, you played in Europe for Sporting and Barcelona. You are a successful coach. So what are your personal plans for the future?
Well, my plan is to continue to grow as a coach. I think the area that I involved myself into now, which is coaching, is to hope, although I was in Tanzania in 2018, 2019, and then I was in Egypt in 2020, but I came back after the season because of the pandemic. But my objective has always been to coach. My objective has always been to see what we can add, mostly when it comes to the game. And my dream, I have always said it, my dream is to see the new generation coming from Africa to surpass what we have done, because that's the only way you can say you are really progressing or you are really growing. When the ones coming behind you are doing much better than what the previous people have done, then we in Africa, we can say, yeah, we are really developing.
Thank you very much, Mr. Amunike. All the best for you, the 1996 gold medalist, Emmanuel Amunike. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. And as we said, the Olympic FIFA football tournaments start on July 21st. We're looking forward to it. Our next Living Football episode will be a birthday special because Mario Zagallo, the Brazilian football icon, turns 90. Well, that's a reason to celebrate. Have a great time till then. See you again soon. Bye-bye.